part of that is, if you think about it, we're generals, right? There's so much intertwined between our history and the Patton family history. So I'm very proud to be able to support this endeavor.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, this is something that, just from talking to Juan was, this is kind of a project that's really been high on their list for a long time now. Then,
Yes.
To have the opportunity for them to do it, I think they're really excited about it as well.
For the gazebo, has it been assessed structurally as well, from the main?
Yeah, so,
column?
right, we actually, part of the project is, they sort of came in and, kind of did a little review on it. We do have to check it for asbestos too. So we're kind of going through that process as well before we kind of go out to bid with
It's
it.
only 25 years old, there shouldn't have been any.
Part of the construction processes, they need to check it for asbestos, yeah, which we don't think there is any, just in case, yeah, just in case if somebody stuck them in there.
Going
yeah.
out of their way to break the law 25 years ago.
DP makes you pull a permit.
Yeah, yeah.
Such an innocuous-looking little gazebo.
Okay.
But yeah, we did some work to the flooring. So the floor is brand new, or not brand new, is probably about 5 to 6 years old. The entire
composite.
floor, yeah.
So that's
And that's like Trek decking or something similar?
composite, plastic,
Yeah.
wood,
Yep.
sawdust stuff. And then are they refinishing it? Are they scraping, priming, painting?
So yeah, scraping, priming, and painting, and then the work to the the railing and kind of the top of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I saw on the plans, I didn't read all the notes very closely. I saw like a blue dashed line kind of going around like the drip edge of the gazebo. Do you know what was?
No,
was
but I can
indicated?
find that. Yeah, I can find
That's
that
all right.
answer.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. I just wasn't sure if they were putting gutters up or if they were putting in a new drip edge or what the. Anyway, in the weeds. I'll let it go. I'm done.
Yeah, but I can find that out. I mean, I think the idea, we're not adding anything new to it. It's gonna be consistent
Place
to,
and kind.
yeah, just, we just
Great.
want it to be sturdier and look
Accessible
newer.
and
Yeah,
look-
yep.
That's great.
Anybody else? I think the only other thing I had is just other programs this summer. What's the summer camp already full? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, so we're still taking some registrations. We have some openings still for some of our younger kids in our summer camp. Just, the pool cover is coming off in, I think, 3 weeks. So we'll be down there, but, so we're ready to go. We're fully staffed. All of our staff hiring is we've taken care of, which was really great before April vacation, so fully staffed and ready to go, and now just kind of working on a lot of the details for the summer. But
How many kids?
yeah, we're excited.
How many kids will be signed up this summer?
Yeah, we usually typically average between like 180 and 200 a day, so that's sort of kind of the average, depending on the calendar's a little weird this year, with the 4th of July being on a Saturday, so it kind of, the week before, the week after, it makes it a little tricky. So those weeks are a little bit lower. But after we get through that, we're pretty full those rest of the weeks.
Excellent.
A quick question that's not, but how many of the people that you hire for the camp are Hamilton kids?
Ooh,
Ballpark.
yeah, 85% probably, 80 to 85%, I would say, on a given season. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up to that? What percentage are returning?
So I'd say this year we actually probably had about 85 to 80% or 80 to 85% return at the pool, which typically we tend to see a little more turnover with the pool staff. Camp staff, we had almost. We didn't hire a lot of camp staff last year, so this year was a little bit of more of a turnaround or turnover with camp staff. Just as kids get older, they, internships, things of that. So, I'd say probably 70% of camp staff is returning, 85% of the pool staff.
So you think about that 70% and 85%, it really shows how connected the summer employees are to the programs, and I think that's great for continuity for the kids that are coming up and growing up through those programs. So I again compliment Sean on his leadership down there and able to bring back the same staff.
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, my son, I live in Salisbury, so my son plays Triton basketball, so we'll, have away games over at Hamilton Wenham just to see kids, and then, see some of the counselors and the kids that are playing basketball run up to the counselors to go talk to them, or they see them all over the place. So it is really it's a cool thing. It really is.
You don't get in front of us very often, because you're busy, which we appreciate, but, since you're in front of us now, I mean, so you got your budget approved this month, we've got another year to work on next year's budget. What's one thing you would ask for to start thinking about to put in your budget for next year?
Yeah, so I think we'd like to continue, pushing forward with the master plan, right? Like we know we have the gazebo portion of it done, or we're hopefully have that done. But we really also wanted to focus on the drainage and the accessible pathways. So with the funding that we have in place, and with the ARPA funding that was previously approved, we do think that this project, this gazebo project, won't necessarily deplete that, deplete all those funds. So then taking a step back, and again, we have all the drawings and all the details on the on the drainage and the accessible pathways. So I think kind of moving forward with that, and then connecting that, with the gazebo project would be great. And then I think, after that, you can start looking at, your fixtures, whether it's, more shade areas or picnic tables or benches. So, but really the accessibility aspect, especially now with the, we're going to be working with the handicap ramp would be really great down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're thinking about next year, this past winter, I know that the pond got a lot of action kind of from skaters and hockey players and things like that. So if you were looking for ideas about next year's budget, I might suggest kind of thinking about like snow blowers or pumps or things like that to allow it, because it got so much snow too, but being able to clear that ice and making it usable in a cold winter really boosts like kind of getting people outside.
I'm going to urge you not to do that. Let's not hold
No?
that conversation for another time.
Hey, I just plug an idea.
So, like, I mean,
Yeah,
liability becomes a concern. If
okay.
we start to do things to actively,
Force it,
as a
yeah.
town, clear the lake and make it ready,
Yeah,
and then
we
something
talked.
goes wrong, when we're going to be liable.
Years past, all right.
We could take a pass. We can take a passive stance where the people go out there, fine. We're not going to arrest them for it or anything. But if we actively prepare that, then we have to then
We have
we
liability.
have liability, and we have to make sure nothing goes
All
wrong.
right. Well,
Because I had felt the same way that you did. And I was shut down.
I'm nothing if not consistent, Rosie.
there you go.
That's true. And it was lovingly shot down, but nonetheless.
Anybody else for Sean? All right, thanks for.
Awesome. Thanks,
for the
guys.
long day
Appreciate
today.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, next item on the agenda is execute purchase and sale agreement for the sale of the cell tower lease
It's,
at 577 Bay Road.
So the lease is in your, the draft lease is in your, P&S is
Yep.
in your packet, as is a draft motion. Lee Smith from KP Law, who has been working on this for us since December, I appreciate his perseverance, is here to answer any questions you may have.
Good evening.
Good evening. So what is the goal? Is the goal tonight to close the issue or to start talking about the issue?
So I think the motion here calls for the select board to vote to authorize the sale to Blue Sky, as has been previously determined by the previous vote of the board, and to authorize myself to execute the documents as you have in front of you, so that we can finalize that sale, and we'll get ourselves a nice a bit of money into the town's bank accounts for infrastructure.
And what areas, I mean, I've never negotiated this type of contract before, so what are the areas of risk or concern that you spend time negotiating that we should be aware of? Any terms that we should be aware of?
I'll leave that to our legal counsel. Sean? Lee?
Sure. Sure, thanks. So it's somewhat unique, might be an exaggeration, but unconventional, I'll say. So we're not selling the land that's below the tower. What you've done in years past is lease, it's a ground lease where the cell tower sits. That's leased to what the predecessor company, now it's Everest, it was Varsity Wireless. So you lease that to them. They're responsible for putting up the tower, doing all the equipment, subleasing it out or leasing it out to cell phone carriers or other telecommunications providers. And here there's a proposal. So that was like, I believe it was a 20-year lease with some extension terms available. So here you're doing essentially a buyout of that entire lease. And in exchange, you're getting a lump sum payment. And then the purchaser of just the lease will assume all responsibility for things that go along with the lease. So they step into the shoes of the town as the landlord, and the town essentially steps out of that and just collects the money. And then just the only thing you really have to worry about is preserving your rights, which is already in the documentation, but there's access easements and utility easements and things of that nature. So you just basically want to keep an eye on it and make sure things are proceeding as intended.
So terms
So
of
rather than receiving, I'll just make up a number, $35,000 a year, you're going to receive a lump sum payment of, I believe it's $680,000, and that'll be that.
So the terms of the original lease didn't necessarily change, they just were incorporated into this, so we didn't give up any terms or conditions, we basically just added to them.
The one substantive term of, it wasn't even actually the lease itself. At your December special town meeting, you authorized an extension, the right to extend that lease
Okay, yes.
for additional terms of 2 5-year extensions each. And the reason for that was because it made it more marketable and attractive to the purchasers of that lease. But that has not been memorialized in the current lease itself. That's something that the purchaser can deal with directly with the current tenant.
And if this contract is with Blue Sky, correct?
Yes.
And if Blue Sky goes out of business or sells before the lease is up, what is this document, what are the rights of Hamilton in this document if they decide to either go out of business or sell?
I think I'd have to go back and look at the specific language, but my assumption is that it would terminate and revert back to the town. But I don't have that answer at my fingertips, but I can follow up with Joe on that.
Yes, you know if it's like this contract is transferable with a new owner of Blue Sky or not. I don't know if that language is, I couldn't find it in here, but if it's transferable language. Yeah.
Effective termination 10.2.
I mean, these cell phone companies change names and sell all the time.
Right. So for example, you entered into the original lease with Varsity Wireless, and they were acquired by a company called Everest. And my understanding is that the Everest company is now beginning their work on a second tower behind the Public Safety Center.
Yep.
So that's my only concern really, is the worst case scenario. What happens if
Right.
what happens if there's some legal disagreement between the tenant and Blue Sky or the new owner, and how does the town have to resolve those situations, and does it get in the middle of the situation? That's really my only concern. The lease, everything goes perfectly. The lease, and the terms of the lease, and everything is perfectly fine, but I just worry about how does it protect this contract, protect us in a worst case scenario, and what that worst case scenario might be.
So I'm just thinking it through as we're speaking. So the town has collected all its money in advance over let's just call it a 30-year term. So you're out of that business, and what would remain is, okay, if let's just pretend no cell tower company wanted to operate it there anymore, they would be required to remove all the equipment from there and restore the site.
Okay.
That's what would happen.
And we're never responsible for giving any money back, correct? They can't terminate early and get money back, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question here about the term of this? I know we extended through town meeting the possibility of extending the lease, but this agreement that we're signing is for the term of how many years?
I believe, well, it's pursuant to the current terms of the lease with Varsity, which I want to say is a total term of 20 years. And then the December special town meeting enabled 2 additional 5-year extensions.
Right, but
But
we,
those extensions are all the responsibility of negotiating between the buyer of the current lease and the lessee. So Varsity's successor being Everest.
okay, okay.
Just one question for me, Lee. So just in regards to the due diligence process out in section 4.6, so are we anticipating any risk there with them, being unsatisfied with anything upon their inspection? And if they are, do we expect that they could come back with a lower proposal or any sort of like mitigation efforts, or what are we, is that just sort of, I know it's sort of standard language, but do we think there's any risk there with that?
My understanding is that they are completely finished. This has been going on for quite a while. They decided, just because of how long it was dragging out, that they would proceed at risk in pursuing their due diligence, which would be, for example, title, environmental survey, making sure they have all the rights they need to operate in the way they need to. So the last piece was the survey. We got that last week. So we're discussing closing perhaps as soon as next week. So it's a little unusual in that the purchase and sale agreement hasn't been signed yet, but it's not unheard of that sometimes, we'll probably sign it in advance, but it's not unheard of that the P&S gets also actually signed at the closing. It's just the way the timing of the whole transaction works out. So I'm not anticipating any issues.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
In the drawings that were submitted that show the various easements, are those just a documentation of what's in all the existing titles, or?
So the survey that I provided to Joe last week, that's the actual survey that the purchaser of the lease had prepared. And Joe helped me out. I don't know if anyone on the town side had a chance to just compare that to what we had in hand from Varsity.
Tim assured me that the what you showed me, what you sent to me last week, Lee, was what is the operating environment out there with regards to access to the site and everything, and the easements for the power and everything else was all right. Was that all in that area, that shaded area? That what you're
Great.
asking?
Essentially, yeah. I was just curious, kind of, it looked like it was the buyer's survey, so I wanted to make sure that it matched up with our records, which it sounds like it does.
So, yeah.
So, did anything in the? So Joe says you've been working on this for a while. Do you want to give us a quick summary of any negotiations you had? And was it just paperwork back and forth, or were there any negotiations and changing any of the terms that you can give a quick summary of, or was the time
Sure.
just the process of just paperwork back and forth?
So I will say that I think the buyer and companies similar to them are probably more used to dealing with other commercial cell tower operators, landowners, and lessors of cell tower sites. So this one was, I think, maybe a little different than what they were used to in terms of dealing with a municipality. So, they'll send over a form and, I get stuck kind of modifying it to make sure that the town's municipal interests are protected. And for example, so there's the purchase and sale agreement. That's the basic outline of the deal. And then referenced in there is the actual assignment and assumption agreement. And that's the operative closing document, if you will. So I had to go back and add in a lot of language there that just made sure that the town was reserving all the rights that it needs to protect its property, to assure that it's clear that the town continues to be the owner of the site upon which the tower is constructed. That if you look at the current lease with Varsity, the town is the lessor, Varsity is the lessee, and just with that language, originally it just says, all right, Blue Sky will just step into the shoes and be the lessor for every term that says lessor in the lease, and that didn't really fit. So just one clean example is it refers to the lessor and reference to the town's bylaws. So obviously the purchaser, they're not their bylaws. So just had to go through that carefully and pull out and be very specific that in any instance where the circumstances dictate that the town still retains the rights it needs to be the landowner, to operate as a municipality, things of that nature. So that was probably the most specific, if you will, part of and it wasn't even really negotiation, might be an exaggeration. I made a proposal, they agreed to it.
Okay.
But that was, I would call the biggest, the heaviest lift, if you will, just to make sure the town's rights were protected in that respect.
All right, well, Lee, thank you and the firm for looking out for our best interests. Any
welcome.
other questions for him, and then I will make the motion? So I'm gonna say, do I have a motion?
Yeah, have somebody read that, so you have the motion in the right language.
I'll read it, and then you can just move it. Okay.
Oh,
Do I have a motion
sorry.
to move that the select board vote to authorize the sale of the telecommunications lease agreement dated July 8th, 2016, by and between the town and Varsity Wireless LLC to Blue Sky Towers 4 LLC, DBA BSTMA 4 LLC, as authorized by the vote on Article 2025-12-3-1 of the December 9th, 2025 special town meeting, including all materials presented therewith to town meeting, and further that the town manager be authorized to execute any and all documents and take such action as may be necessary in order to consummate the transaction.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Joe, we good?
Yes, I will continue to make sure I follow council's advice and we do this to protect the town.
Thank
But
you.
it'll be great to get this kind of done behind us, and
Good precedent, because we might have a second tower, so we've got the process down now.
we know what we're doing now, and
Okay.
it won't be as hard to do next time, hopefully. So,
All right, we'll go roll call vote.
Lee McCoy, aye.
Ben Galuza, aye.
Rosie Kennedy, aye.
Tom Myers, aye.
William Olson, aye. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you. It just one procedural or logistical point. Just because of the short time within which we'll be closing, I'm going to need a certified copy of the vote that you just took to go along with the closing documents. So whomever's taking minutes, if they could at least pull out this section of it and certify this vote, that would keep us ahead of the game.
On it.
we'll make sure the minute takers get those to us forthwith, and fortunately, we have another meeting next Monday, so if they get turned around, we can have these approved at next Monday's meeting, and we're ready to go.
Perfect. Yeah, if you could add that to your agenda, just while you're thinking about it, that would be helpful. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
How do you pronounce, I don't mispronounce your name? Pagliuca?
Pagliuca.
I think it's Pagliuca.
Jean or Jan?
Jean
Next
Pagliuca.
item is the appointment of Jean Pagliuca to the Hamilton Council on Aging to fill an open position. And we're hoping to discuss and vote tonight
As an alternate member.
as an alternate member, sorry.
Right.
So we have, is she on the call?
I believe, well, there was somebody with the initials JP that was on earlier, but she seems to have left, so maybe
I'm just
she,
gonna read it real quick, since she's not here.
Yeah.
Take 2 seconds. I am writing to express my interest in the alternate committee position with the Hamilton Council on Aging. Professionally, I'm employed by Senior Care, Inc., where I work closely with older adults and community partners to support aging services and initiatives. I hope to bring this experience to the Council on Aging and serve as a collaborative community partner supporting the Hamilton Council on Aging in any way possible through my professional capacity. On a personal level, I'm also a caregiver for a family member. This experience has deepened my appreciation for the vital role local programs and resources play in enhancing the well-being of our residents. The Council on Aging is an invaluable part of our community, providing essential guidance and support to so many. It would be an honor to contribute to this important work and support the COA's mission of serving older adults and their families in Hamilton. Thank you for your consideration.
Yes.
So do I have a motion?
Yeah, just so you know, just so everybody knows, the chair of the board, of the Council on Aging Board, Laura Studley, also sent a letter of endorsement. The candidate did meet with the Council on Aging and was endorsed by a vote of the board. They think she'll do a great job in working with them as needed.
Absolutely. I move that we appoint Jean Pagliuca as an associate member of the Hamilton Council on
Alternate
Aging.
member or associate member, Joe?
We have her listed as an alternate member, but I don't.
You know, if it's alternate or associate?
Yeah, she wrote alternate committee
Okay, so go.
position.
As an alternate committee member, I think we've sort of wrestled with the distinction between those two terms. So associate, alternate.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Lee?
Well, I just wanted
Oh,
to say
sorry.
I read through her
pardon.
resume, and it's clear she has a strong dedication to helping support communities and these types of nonprofits. And with her professional experience as a care manager of seniors, sounds like she's a great fit. So just really happy to see people like this stepping up to help out the COA.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll do a roll call.
All right, Lee McCoy, aye.
Ben Galuza, aye.
Rosie Kennedy, aye.
Tom Myers, aye.
William Olson, aye. All right, Joe, this is your favorite part of the meeting. Discussion
it is, it
schedule
is.
of Annual goal setting and select board workshop meeting.
Yeah. So annually, we have a goal-setting and workshop meeting. We've done it as early as June in the past. I think last year, we didn't do it till August. Of course, last year, we had a lot going on. So I think we had 2 special town meetings before we did goal setting for the year. So I'm hoping to not let it leak all the way into August again, but I did include for you. Unfortunately, it didn't translate well because I think it came across as a,
It's kind of
but
It's
you-
readable.
You get the sense of what the goals were last year. I think that, and I gave you 3 months of calendars to look at, June, July, and August. We don't have to pick a date today, but if the members could start to like circle around when you'd like to do this. I also thought that to mix it up a little this year, I might try to incorporate some of our goal setting into the way we deal with our, or interact with our department heads as well. So I thought that if we can pick a time where the whole board is available for, 2 to 3 hours, that could be on a Saturday morning, or if you all wanted to leave work early on a Wednesday and we wanted to go from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7, we could have the department heads come and do a little bit of like what Sean did here. I think when Bill asked the question, what would you want to try to have for next year? And then that could be part of our conversation, and that'll help lead us into the fall when we start talking about budgets again. The more ways we can do that with the department heads and then show the town we're doing that. These meetings get taped, they get broadcast on HWCAM, gives us opportunities to show the community that it isn't all being done behind the scenes in a back room, that we're actually getting the input from our department heads and our boards and committees before we start to work on the budget, so.
I like that idea.
That's a great idea.
Just means you all need to have like
So-
4-hour block of time for us to
I
pull
know
it
it's
off.
like everybody's got different
Yeah.
schedules, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll throw a date out there and then we can talk about it. Somebody else can throw a date out there, but May's shot for me. July's probably not a great idea, so June's probably a good month.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm okay giving like a Monday, I mean, I know I'm here for a Monday meeting, so I'm okay coming, like starting like you said, 3 o'clock and just going, doing like 3 to 6 and then we'll just roll into our meeting afterwards. Cause I don't typically schedule things for the Mondays that we have a meeting, so I'm typically free on those Mondays. So Joe, do you know what Mondays in June?
Mondays in June, you currently have Monday, June 1st, and Monday, June 15th as your scheduled meetings. It is a month with 5 Mondays, so
Yeah, so we
you
do
could
have-
always do the 29th as well if you wanted to.
That's true. We
You
can
could
also
add
do
that meeting.
So thoughts on the 1st, the 15th, to the 29th, that people have?
My preference, since I'm still catching up, so to speak,
Yeah.
with many things going on in my life, I would opt for either the 15th or the 29th.
I think the 15th, at least according to my calendar, is the last day of school. So that may impact folks that may be having things planned on the last day of school with children.
Yes.
The 29th is the
School and
Monday
that
of-
early this year? Wow. That's good.
I don't know if that's changed recently with like, I mean, I have it marked on my Google Calendar, but it could have changed. So maybe we want to verify that.
Yeah, I think it might have gotten pushed to the 18th, but we should check. But the 29th would work great for me, but I can do either of the other days as well.
I'm good for anything in June on as long as the Monday works with people's work schedules, I can do something similar, so.
All right, so Joe, let's finalize next Monday, whether it's gonna be the 15th or the 29th.
Okay.
You can talk to your department heads too?
Yep.
See if it works for them?
Yep.
Gives them 2 options. And we'll double check if the 15th is the day that we're all gonna be taking our kids out for ice cream. And not coming to a meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a choice between the 15th and the 29th, and there's a possibility that's the last day of school, the thought of doing a 3-hour meeting for budget, so planning, and then a 2 or 3 hour select board
We would
meeting.
do a light agenda right here, yes.
Okay, we never have a light agenda, but anyhow, I'm just,
I thought we were gonna have a light agenda next week until we started writing down things that we're gonna talk about next week, and all of a sudden,
Right.
it's starting to get full, so.
right. So, and it seems like there's some flexibility for people, so.
So do we have to, does it have to be a meeting? Like, does it have to be a,
So in order for you all to meet together, we have to advertise it, but we always advertise it as a workshop, which means that we take minutes, but we don't take any votes. We announce up front that no votes will be taken. It's an opportunity to ask questions, share information, and then you'll take votes about what the goals are at a future meeting. We've done that consistently over the last 7 years. It allows us to, we don't have public comment during that period. It's just for the board to focus on what you want to kind of come to consensus on focusing on for the next year, what you want to focus me on for the next year. And so I think this would be a good opportunity to introduce our department heads to that process and get them involved in it a little bit and let you hear directly from them all at once. Because it does get, you hear from, maybe the police chief will say something in November, and then the fire chief will say something in January, and then you're there in September and October, and we're starting to make budget decisions, and you're trying to remember all the things you heard. We have everything together. People will be able to offer you ideas of things that they would do if they had the opportunity, and then we can kind of, as a board, you can kind of weigh what your priorities are in that group of requests.
okay. All right, so,
Last day of school is the 18th,
okay.
so it won't interfere.
Sorry, students.
Yes.
Sorry, all those snow days.
They get out at
Yep.
11:15 though, so it's not a real, that's not a real school day.
Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Rosie. If we're gonna do it on a Monday, the concept would be we'd have a shorter
Shorter day.
day meeting. But I think it's a good to get the department heads involved, because I think that is important. And you also look at our list from last year. Believe it or not, we almost checked everything
I
off the
know.
box.
Bravo,
Right, so-
Joe.
So we're doing good. So we want to really take some thought to make sure we put things on there that we can really tackle next year, because we have the capacity now. So, all right, so Joe, next week we'll.
We'll finalize that next week,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
All right. And then,
Discuss and date setting for possible special town meeting in the fall.
yeah, so this was, again, you have a letter, or an email rather, from Town Clerk Corinne Kale. I'm not going to say it this year, because I've been saying it
Don't
each
say
year
it.
for the
Don't
last
ever
3 or
say
4 or
it.
5
We
years.
don't
and
need a special
Every
Yeah, we
time
don't
I
have
say it,
anything on it.
every time I say it, something comes up and makes me a liar, so I'm not gonna say it. But in the event that we need a special town meeting, we think it'd be good for you guys to kind of circle around a date and get that identified. It allows a couple things. It allows the town clerk to better plan, and as you can see from the note that she sent, we have a state primary election in September, and we have the state general election in November. There's a lot of work that goes into those for her and her staff and the poll workers. And we also, as staff, have to then turn around and we back into the meeting. Whatever date you set, we have to roll back all the things that we have to do. When we start to produce the warrant, when you start to close the warrant, when we advertise the warrant, all that stuff has to get planned. All that work, all those dates have to get planned. So if you can identify a date now that in the event that we need a town meeting in the fall, you can tell us a date, either today or Monday, and then we can do the planning in case it's needed, and then,
So Joe, if I said, what are the last five dates as town meeting in the fall, would you know, are those October, or those?
we've been all over the map.
We have been, okay.
We've done September, October, November, and December, in my tenure here, so I would urge us not to do December again.
No.
And, you know,
Not due December, you said?
not to December.
Yeah,
I think that, you know, Corinne notes in her email some dates that are good for her and her staff.
Yeah.
Saturday, September 26th is a good date, Saturday, October 3rd is a good date. And then she said, any dates after November 7th, I would add to that, any dates after November 7th, but before December, I would like us to stay away from. That's a lot at that time of year. We're trying to set the tax rate, we're trying to, you know, finalize water bills, and, you know, to have staff also focused on a special town meeting. It'd be easier for everybody if we could get it done a little earlier than that.
I like the Saturday, October 3rd date. Does anybody think that's a good date?
I could do that one.
I think it's too soon, but I don't know.
We don't even have anything on the agenda yet, and you're
And
worried
it's 6
about it.
months after the annual, so that kind of it's like it's
Ah.
halfway around the year, where that kind of sort of makes
It
sense.
sounds like Corinne was giving us sort of hints.
She
My
is.
two choices were, October 3rd was up there. My choices were October 3rd or November 14th.
There,
But I'm fine with October 3rd.
it's a. I noticed that Wenham, they did their most recent annual town meeting on a weeknight.
Yeah.
I know we've historically done ours on Saturdays,
Days.
and we
Fall.
had, did we do weekdays last
This past year, we did weekdays.
one.
Well, we did a couple. We did,
Yes.
the one for Gordon Conwell in December was on a
Because when it's kind
weeknight,
of like,
the one for 3A was on a weeknight, so.
so it seems like as well, if it's a single item type of agenda, that, for our town anyway, it's not versus the annual town meeting where it's big, it's long, and we're trying to get it all done in one meeting, right?
Yeah.
But we've made allowances as well to do it on weeknights when it's more single agenda item meetings.
Right.
Was there any appetite for that, in terms of not having to do it on a Saturday?
Well, I would just say that we have a lot of older residents who really complain a lot about evening meetings. It was very distressing to watch seniors come to all the special town meetings in the evenings attached to their walkers and their canes, and I thought it was unfair, and I really would like to see it be on a Saturday morning for the sake of residents who continuously attend town meetings. So, that's just my thought.
I mean, the ones that we had during the week, we did try to get the school on board with canceling all activities for those days, which was not easy to do. So it was a struggle to sort of not have conflicts, because we wanted to get, so it kind of goes both ways. That's what I'm saying, with this short meeting, at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, you don't miss a lot of
Right.
field time, because a lot of things there's not a lot of games at 9, but if the meeting goes till noon, you're gonna start missing field time. So if it's a single, right, if it's I could argue if it's a single item vote, 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday is probably even better, because it's over by 9:30,
Right.
10 o'clock.
And,
But
and Joe will be very brief in his articles for the warrant, and I won't talk too much.
I thought we did a good job just with annual this year. I think we only had a total of like 20 total articles, and we took care of a half a dozen of those in a consent motion, so I think we only needed 16 votes or something to get through town meeting. It was crazy.
So I think I think we're gonna decide tonight, but because we're meeting next
Tom's hand
Monday,
is raised.
let's talk about it a little bit more, and let's go away and come back with some ideas. But Tom, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I just had like a crazy idea. I mean, I know I understand Rosie's point about the seniors, and I know we got some pushback about the evening hours, and I know on the alternative side we got pushback on the Saturday mornings for those that have kids in sports, and so I think it's like tough to find that balance of like what is the right time. Is it crazy to even think about a Sunday like where there's less sport options? I mean, is Sunday a not okay ask given, but I'm just wondering, have we ever considered that? Less sports happen on Sunday more, it's usually Saturday. You could do it in the morning, such, but I don't know if that's unheard of or not even worth exploring, but just trying to find a middle ground to try to meet everyone's needs.
Or what about an 8 AM start on Saturdays? Anybody up for that?
I think that would be, on behalf of the town clerk, I'll just say, she's gotta get there, she gets there at least an hour, hour and a half before we get started. She's gotta get everything set up, she's gotta get her poll workers there. So if you're gonna start a meeting at 8 o'clock, then you're asking the poll workers to get there at 7, so we can open the doors and start checking people in. They get paid a little bit, but it's not like this is a professional job for them. I think it's a little bit asking much to expect people to get up and be at the
What about Sunday?
7 a.m. I'll look into it. I mean, I've never heard of a special town meeting or any kind of a government meeting on a Sunday.
Yeah. Just
don't-
crazy idea, just trying to find something, right? I mean, I know we get pushback from both sides of the pie here of, evenings don't work and Saturday mornings don't work, and each side has a very valid reason why those, are not okay. And obviously we want to promote the best turnout possible. But yeah, I'm just throwing out ideas out, so.
I do think that what we've seen here in the last couple of years is that turnout is driven by what's on the agenda, not what what day or night of the week it is. I understand Rosie's point. I understand Rosie's point about how it taxes certain people, and I agree with that. But if it's an important enough topic that we're putting on a special town meeting, we're probably going to get enough of a turnout to have the meeting and come to a decision as a community. I know years ago, before I got here, the town wrestled with quorums, and you voted to change your quantum of quorum to make a meeting official. We have been nowhere near that low number in the 7.5 years I've been here. The lowest I think we've ever had was 150, which is double what our quorum is. And in the last couple of years, it's been well above that, so.
Does Wenham have a date?
No, Wenham typically has not done a lot of special town meetings. The last couple of years, they've done them really for the first time. The first 5 years I was here, they never had a special town
If you
meeting.
had to guess for anything that you could see possibly coming up, because I can't think of anything right now.
Well, see, I don't want to speculate because the last 4 years I've been trying to say that we're not going to have a special town meeting. And every time I sit here in April or May and say, hey, we don't need anything, by August, I've got 4 or 5 things staring me in the face going, oh my God, I
Right
should
now, you
open
don't
my
have
mouth.
anything on your,
As of right now, I have nothing on the radar, and
Are
I've
we
asked.
better off scheduling it earlier so that if it does need to be pushed, we can push it?
it's
That's
better
a good
scheduled
point,
because if it doesn't make it, then we don't have one. Maybe December, maybe October, maybe Saturday, October 3rd is a good day to go with. If it doesn't get on there, then we don't have it. We wait till.
Could we think about an 8:30 meeting, or is that just forget about it, 9 o'clock,
The-
and that's it?
So I've already said what I had to say about the start of the meeting.
We can do
That-
that. We can
Ultimately,
vote.
it's up to the board. You can
Yeah.
start the meeting at 8:30.
You're coming at 9.
So let,
I do think that you'll hear some pushback from our clerk, and I understand why she would do that, and I've already expressed that, so. But it is the board's decision to call a special town meeting and to formulate the warrant, and then the moderator runs it, and the clerk manages all the record of it, so.
why don't you ask
a
Corinne?
three-headed
between
monster.
now and next Monday about, what time earliest that you thought would be appropriate, see what she says, just
And
to,
we'll have coffee?
and then we'll vote next week on, look at our calendars, I don't think what it is, but I think we've got October 3rd is probably the earliest, and I think November 14th probably the latest. And I think that a Saturday is probably still a better early in Saturdays, because once again, it's not going to be, like, the concept is this meeting it would be for one or two of them. It's not gonna be a 3-hour meeting. That's not the point of this meeting.
And we'll hold you to that then, so that the kids can get to their games.
Yeah, right.
The last time I could find a Sunday town meeting was early colonial period.
Well, then there you go.
You're saying there's a chance.
If we really want to dive way back to old times.
We'll make the papers. All right, new business. So new business, we're gonna talk, so next week we're gonna talk about the, annual goal setting. We're gonna decide between the 15th and the 29th. And we're gonna talk about the town meeting where they're gonna be sometime between the 3rd of October, and so we'll talk about that next time. All right, Corinne said 8:30 is fine.
I love you, Corinne.
All right, so we'll talk about that next time. Two things I wanted to put out there for this year, not necessarily for next week, but two things I want to put out there this year is, number one is that, policy writing. We've been talking about doing, I think we should look at all the stuff we knocked off this list. I think we have some time now. We should probably talk about policy writing. So next time, maybe we should talk about
Oh, good, the exciting stuff.
all the policies. And we have people out in the community who've been willing to help us with that, do some of the work in the background and bring it to us. So with policies and whatnot. So I think we should talk about whether it's signage, banners,
Use of
Patton
public-
Park.
use of public spaces.
I think that a sign would have caused such a ruckus.
Facility use
Such
policy.
yes, all this stuff. So that's one thing I'd like to talk about. Number two is, we've been really busy this year with our own stuff, our own board, and I think haven't put enough attention to what other boards are doing. And I think I'd like to get back to us giving a better update on the liaison positions of what and then inviting other boards to come and have joint meetings. We didn't do that enough, so I think that is one I'd like to do as well too. And then the third one is, we have joint meetings when we have, a 5-board or the 5-board meetings, but I'm just trying to think about another way to maybe do.
You do joint meetings
meetings
usually
like
with
Wenham or
CPC in
something.
July? Oh, you want to do with
Even with
Wenham?
Wenham, yeah, earlier than just the budget. I mean, they recently, have approved traffic change, right? It's gonna affect all of us, but we weren't really part of that process, nor were we allowed to be, because Wenham would have been good to know what they were talking, what they're going through, but we don't. So it'd be good to get an update from them and have a joint meeting to find out what things they're working on that may affect us, that maybe we can't necessarily vote on, but it'd be good to know what they are, so we have thought, because I didn't know that was a vote within the, to vote on that. I didn't know that was gonna be their vote, to vote.
I didn't either. As far as I understood, the state had taken
thought the
over
state
that
had
process
taken
7 years ago, and I had no idea that they had a vote on it
Yeah,
until
they
they
voted
did
on
it.
it,
I was
right,
like,
so-
oh, okay.
Those are the kind of things I'm just thinking about in terms of communication, collaboration, and getting more information out there, but
That's good.
go ahead, Rosie, anything else you want to talk about next week or in the coming weeks and months?
Just something that I had come up with in terms of the rededication of our town hall. I think it's, I want it to be a celebration for the whole town. And to that end, I thought that during the time when we're celebrating the ribbon cutting and the dedication of the elevator addition for Jay, that I'd like to organize an art exhibition. And I have contacted Eric Tracy, who thinks it's a good idea, and I've contacted Melinda Vining, our COA director, who thinks it's a good idea. What I'd like to do is do an art exhibition during the time of the grand reopening in the new memorial room, if we can make space. I would have to talk with Sean about that, and our town manager, but making an area where we could exhibit high school art, senior art, and then senior citizen art. I know that there are some great artists in both of those entities, and I thought it would just add to the celebratory nature. So,
Get people there. And be a draw to get people there. as
well,
Yeah.
of course,
Both
because,
things, right, yeah.
right, because I think it's really exciting, and we'll have
Good.
tea sandwiches and things like that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about and would like to do.
That's great.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Anything you want to add for next week or?
I had one, AOB was, when we were kind of coming out of all those snowstorms, and what a great job the DPW had done, keeping the roads clear. And Bill, I think you had an idea about even a little.
Yeah, we talked about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. We wanted to sort of, when the smoke cleared, sort of.
Yeah, so I know, we've talked about it with the Public Works Director, and he's working on scheduling something. He wants to have it benefit both his full-time guys that do a lot of the work, but we also have 14 to 16 contract drivers, and so we're trying to arrange that at a time when they would be able to get here, and so we'll let you know, and hopefully you'll all be able to come and join in the festivities. We decided we're
Flesh
gonna.
that out a little bit. It sounds like you guys know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry, I was trying to just like tee Bill up and Joe up over there.
No, so Joe, yeah, just give a quick summary of what we talked about.
The idea was to, recognize the hard work, our DPW workers and all the snow plow workers worked so hard this year, really far better than most of the communities around us as far as clearing the streets in a timely way. And I say that as a person that drives through 3 other towns to get here. And the roads hitting Hamilton were way better than most of the roads that I was on before I got here. We're gonna have a celebration for them with buying them dinner. And it looks like we're gonna focus on barbecue, because we think that's what they'll like. We'll do a little barbecue dinner with them at the garage, and invite you all to come down and thank them. And,
It's a great idea.
Mark credits too.
Good idea, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's really fun. And I will say, as a resident, that in years past, in the distant past, you would have to jump out of the way to save your life because these plows would go zooming down the street so fast that it frightened me. I would say that that does not happen anymore, that they just do a really conscientious, good job.
And they willing to work, you know, the hours that no one's around. They've been working, they work, you know, for the midnight to the 6 o'clock AM shift.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, the couple of big storms there in January, the long-running storms, I think at one point we had, the first storm, I think our crew worked more than 36 hours in a row. So short breaks in between, but that is a long time
Yeah.
to be driving. But that's one of the reasons that our roads were in such great shape.
anything else, Ben?
With Memorial Day coming up, just for the select board, and I know that we're invited to walk in the parade if people are interested, and so that's an option and opportunity.
And the breakfast?
Yep, and the breakfast as well, so.
Yeah, so Lee, there's a breakfast at the Legion Hall that
Gardner
we're all
Post.
invited to.
Yep.
And then there's a great breakfast, and it's great hearing people speak. And then we have the parade after that.
Bring your walking shoes if you're interested.
Yeah.
It's not that long, it's from Town Hall down to the
Cemetery.
cemetery. So,
And there's
Short
a
walk.
little ceremony at the,
Okay, anything else?
Tom?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm good for now.
And, look, Tom's
Nope, nothing else for me.
big as the screen right now, Tom.
Does he have the screen to himself?
Yeah, he's
No.
almost.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
All
I
right,
like it-
Can
my
I just
burnt
real quick-
face.
yeah, anything else?
I'll give you guys quick updates on a couple of things. My wife and I are gonna be traveling to Buffalo. Her last remaining uncle on her father's side is gonna be visiting from the West Coast, so we're gonna go out and visit them from May 8th to the 12th. Then the end of the month, the 27th, 28th, and 29th of May, I'll be participating in the Massachusetts Municipal Managers Conference down in the Cape, so I'll be away from town for those days. And I do have some dates in June. My oldest son needs a little bit of nasal reconstructive surgery, so I'll be taking some sick time to get him to his hospital trips and visits, and surgery day I'll be out, so.
Okay.
And just the other thing that we had talked about was doing something for the 250th 250th anniversary of the inception of our country, and we had, I had talked with Joe about getting a flag and
I looked into one, but I didn't find a good source. Did you find a source?
We had some, we've looked at some, we just haven't purchased it yet,
Okay,
so.
Good, I couldn't find one. that
When
was
do you, I guess what I'd need from the board is when do you want to raise that flag? And how long you want it to run for? It's a US flag, so it's not but it's a memorial flag,
yeah.
Could we
commemorating our.
do it at the same time that we do the town hall ribbon cutting? That's like do a bunch of
Well, we're
stores.
not doing that until maybe
Maybe
September.
September.
Somebody.
Flag Day is
was it you?
June 14th, right? Isn't that a holiday on the calendar, June 14th, I think is Flag Day every year? Or you could do it closer to 4th of July?
Maybe, yeah, I'm not fussy, but you had mentioned, Bill, maybe have it at the time when we have the fireworks. It's kind
Yeah,
of
we
a
talked
big
about the
Community
deal.
block party, yeah.
Community block
Yeah.
party, yeah.
So that's
Are
kind
they
of a
doing
big
that
deal.
this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All
just,
right,
I mean,
say that.
it's
That's
a
a good
big
idea.
deal,
Right.
and because residents have said they felt disappointed when we didn't participate in important events, and this is certainly an important event, and so
I'm fine with that.
would want people to think about that some
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Right, maybe block party date,
20th, June 20th.
June 20th.
June 20th, yeah.
Get a flag made by then?
If they're already made, I just gotta buy one. That should be easy. Should be easy enough.
Yeah.
It's already, there's a company selling commemorative flags right now.
Are they already
Yeah,
made?
yeah.
You're selling them, okay.
Is
We'll
it a
get Betsy
special kind of
Ross here.
flag? It's,
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
which one are you?
yeah, 13 stars,
good.
13 stars.
Stars and it
then
says
with
250th.
76 or
Yeah,
76.
76 in the middle
yeah.
of it.
Just something that's meaningful. And maybe one of our high school kids would, or a couple of them during the, and this is just an idea, during the time of the block party, maybe a couple of people would want to read portions of the Declaration of Independence to,
Oh, you know how to throw a good time.
and cookies, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, some cookies in there. Cookies and milk.
Anyhow, I just thought I would throw that out there. I think it's important to commemorate it in a
Absolutely.
meaningful way.
Mr. McGrath, anything we should be putting on the agenda involving FinCom over the next weeks and months?
No, I'll have 2 new members here in the next month or two. Once I
Good.
connect with the moderator, so
Good,
we'll be back at full strength.
excellent.
That's good.
Nice.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Have to do a
Thanks, everybody.
roll call.
Thank you.
should do a roll call vote.
You're supposed to do a
Technically.
roll call.
Technically, you should do a roll.